Hey, good morning, everybody. It's time for my morning reflection. Started work early, about oh hell, I don't know, 4:30, I think. Went out for a few hours and came back home, pick up my granddaughter. Smooth. Got the old Folgers with a little bit of goat's milk in there. Oh, that's so good. Anyway, after I drop Lucy off, I'm gonna head across town and drop off this bad boy. A Facebook friend of mine, she sent me $10 on Cash App, and so I customized it for her. Thank you, Patty. Appreciate it. So I'm gonna go deliver this to her front door. I think she said she wasn't gonna be home until sometime today, so I think her and her husband are out of town. So I'm gonna drop it off at her front door and hope some crackhead doesn't sell this and then, or steals it and then sells it for like twice as much, because that would be my luck. Anywho, yeah, working today, out driving around picking people up. It was kind of funny. My first rider, well, it was actually a couple. It looked like, picked them up from some big plant south side of town. I don't like to mention names of companies unless I'm giving some kind of review. Plus, I kind of want to protect them a little bit. Anyway, yeah, so I picked up this couple, and they were Indian couple, younger, and they're young, not totally Americanized, because they had accents. And anyway, from what I gathered was, they hitched a ride together. It was under her account, but they went to his apartment. So, and they worked together. So anyway, what was funny is they were talking whatever language they speak the whole time. So I had, the music on kind of faint, and he was getting a little frisky with her. You know what I mean? Just kind of, he was like, I'd look in the rearview mirror every once in a while just to see what's behind me, not really to watch them, but I can see and it was dark, so I could see the silhouette of his head, and he was like, gulu 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 gulu, and then she was like, oh, gulu gulu gulu, and she would giggle. So that's what it sounded like to me. Like I couldn't understand a fucking word they were saying, but all I heard was gulu gulu gulu. Goody, 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 goody. And they were just going back and forth, and it got to the point where I'm like, shut the fuck up. Or anyway, it was about a 10-minute trip to the guy's house, and dropped him off, and they just got off, so they worked the night shift. It sounded like he was going to get himself some booty. So I don't know, that made me laugh. Once I dropped him off, I'm like, oh, to be all young and in love again, and be Indian. I don't know why it's so funny. I wish I could have recorded the conversation, because they're like, oh, go, 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 oh, go, go, oh, go, 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 go. Anyway, I kept replaying it in my head, and I was fucking laughing. I picked up another rider, and I was trying not to laugh because I was thinking about it. I mean, in a sense, it was cute. You know what I mean? It's like a young Indian couple in love, and they're gonna go make some little Indian babies right now. But I don't know. Some languages are funnier than others. I noticed Indian people like to take Lyft and Uber a lot, and um, I don't know. They always seem to pair up. You know what I mean? There's always, not always, but most of the time it's always two of them, and they have their little conversations, and so I don't want to fuck up their conversation, so I turn down the music a little bit. So the whole time I'm listening to them talk, and I swear I'm picking out like certain words in their language that sounds like, some Spanish, some English, unless, they have it kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's a mixture of English and their language, but sometimes like they had said puta or something like that, and it made me, I was like snickering, trying not to make it seem obvious that, I don't know, the Indian language, whatever they're speaking, I think it's Punjabi. Is that right? It makes me laugh. I'm sorry. It's just and the Filipino languages too are kind of off the wall. And they're kind of like a muck 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 muck, kalaka 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 kalaka. It's I try to listen, and it's like there's no way I can learn those languages. I mean, shit. Spanish was hard enough, and I heard it half my life. I'm not fluent. Like, I'll understand like one out of every 3 words, but I can't really carry a conversation to save my life. But when it comes to other languages, like French to me is funny. German, fuck. It's like, and it's funny, a lot of people in Europe, like, they speak more than one language. It would have been nice if they kind of forced that on us here. Like, in the United States, I mean, most of the Americas speak Spanish, and then you have a good portion that speaks French. In Canada, I think there's one country down South America, I think they speak French too. I can't remember the name, but anyway, it would have been nice if they actually forced it, not used it as an elective, because I would have loved to have been fluent in Spanish and French too, yeah, we need to be a little bit more diverse, because in Europe, I mean, shit, they're like a fucking train station away from another country. They got those super trains over there, and you got people. I remember my mom was dating some guy from, fuck, I don't know, Switzerland? I think he was Swiss. And he spoke, German and Italian and Spanish. And, yeah, my mom thought he was the shit. But turns out, he was actually a piece of shit. I think it was kind of like, I don't know, one of those, the fuck they call it, hobosexual, where the guy just kind of hops around different girlfriends to just have a place to stay. He was one of those. But my mom fell in love with every freaking guy she was with. She always got delusional and saw like white picket fences and shit and marriage and just, I don't know. She wasn't very realistic. And I guess I kind of adopted some of that too, But, yeah, but I was impressed. That guy spoke all sorts of languages. I mean, I remember we had went to like the flea market or something, and he was actually talking to the paisa on the other side of the table in Spanish. I'm like, this fucking guy is he was a tall guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, and he was fluent. Now, I could tell it was a different Spanish, right? So he was obviously educated in the Spanish, right? From Spain. Because it sounded different, but he was still communicating with this little Oaxacan. So, anyway, yeah, languages are funny. And man, I got such a problem memorizing. I don't know. I think I'm like kind of dyslexic, if there's another term for it, for lack of a better term. I have a form of dyslexia where it has nothing to do with reading. I can read just fine. But like, even like my favorite songs, I can't remember the lyrics. I mean, if you listen to a song, you might get like one verse right, you know, like my son, my daughter, and my wife, like they can memorize a song like that. Like it just, they soak it up, and they could sing along. And I'll try to sing a song that I've heard for years, and I'll fuck it up somehow. Or I'll just, you know, fill in the blanks with like beer, 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 or Scooby Doo, Scooby Doo. You know, I'm really fucked up. It sucks. I'd like to be able to do karaoke, but you know, well, I can't carry a tune, and I, even though I know the words are on the screen, and you know you kind of sing along, I'll still fuck it up. Like, yeah. So that's why I kind of ad lib everything I do. You know, like even this fucking daily video journal I do. It's like I start off slow, a lot of ums, a lot of uhs, but once I get going, you can't shut me up. I have to shut me up. But I could do stuff like that. You know, I could talk. I have the gift of gab. It's, you know, trying to like my wife always wants to do, like TikToks. Hey, we should do this. And you just remember, I fuck it up. I'll fuck it up every single time. I'm like, just give me the least amount of words to say, and I'll try to do that. But, oh, here comes Lucy Goose. I'm gonna see if she notices this thing's on. What's up, little buddy? You got a banana there? Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do with that? Hit somebody over the head with it? You gonna feed a gorilla? All right, let's do this. Check it out, Liz.
Oh, what the frick? That's actually really cool.
Yeah. Your Mama, whatever the hell you call her, she got it for me so I could record and say stupid shit.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, I'm gonna turn it off. Oh God. Cat almost got hit. Lucy cracks me up, man. She's a little character. She's got a real attitude problem, though. Just like her mom and just like her grandma. But, she's smart. She has potential. But, you know, she's like, she doesn't do enough outside of being at home on her phone. That bugs me. Anyway. And she's got, like I said, she got a lot of built up aggression. My wife and I were thinking about getting her in like jiu-jitsu or something where she can do some physical activity and get all her aggression out. I mean, I guess she could do like, you know, Little League or, you know, soccer or something like that too. Might be cheaper, but I don't know. Anyway, in case you guys haven't figured it out, I wasn't really gonna mention it, but why not? It's no shame in it. I'm just getting tired of doing it. I drive for Uber, and I've been doing it for a little over a year now. I started off kind of like part-time to help, you know, kind of make a little extra money. But at the time, I had a really toxic job that I wasn't too happy with. The work itself wasn't hard, you know. I just felt like I was set up to fail when I got hired there. I mean, people were either pissing and moaning about the guy I replaced, or they loved him and they didn't like me. And I felt like I was being undermined not only by the people that were working under me, but the people who were working over me. It's like I had a certain responsibility, but absolutely no power at all. Like I couldn't make a decision without, you know, my immediate supervisor and his supervisor kind of, you know, micromanaging. It's like you can't get anything done. It's like every little step. Oh, what about this? No. How about this? No. I'm like, well, what the fuck, dude? Like, why am I here? Anyway, it got to the point where I just said, fuck it, I'm doing this, this, and that, and I'm doing this, and then I would get kind of chewed out. And then my immediate supervisor, which I didn't have a problem with him at first, but then when I found out that he was talking to other employees about how I handled the department, that bugged me. That was like the final straw. His supervisor was a micromanager, but I trusted him a lot more as far as, you know, the right direction to go. He was very smart guy. And I just, you know, I said, I don't need this aggravation on me. I was pissed off like all the fucking time. I would come home and I wouldn't like necessarily take it out on everybody, but like my attitude was shit. And so I pretty much said, I'm just gonna fall back on this Uber. And I did. But then I got really complacent, you know, driving around, having my own schedule, and I got bored. So it's like now it's like I have a 4-year degree, I have a 2-year degree, I have experience in construction and manufacturing and machining. And it's like it's really hard to get in somewhere. Fresno's the type of town that, you know, they like to go through temp agencies for whatever reason, and it's like I just haven't brought myself to do that. But I'm giving it a couple more months, and I'm working on yeah, let's calm down, buddy. So I'm working on some things, you know. Got some applications out there. I've taken the exams, and it's like a waiting game right now. Thinking about getting back in construction of some sort, whether it be sheet metal or pipe fitting or as an electrician's apprentice. And I'm trying to get my certifications back for water. I worked for Fresno Water Department for a lot of years, and I don't necessarily need to work for them, but I'd like to work at some water department, you know, locally. So that's another option. Haven't really figured it out yet. But I'm getting bored with Uber. I mean, I could really make good money if I was working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, but it's exhausting. It's not physically exhausting, but it's definitely mentally exhausting. And then you deal with a lot of people. And I could make more money if I was working nights, but, you know, you work certain hours and you deal with a lot of drunk people. Drunk people meaning belligerent, or they don't listen too well. I had picked up this one guy from some sleazy hotel south side of town, and man, he stunk up my car. And like I could, between the you know, the booze and his fucking onion pits, the guy reeked. And like, so I get like, I don't know, about 3/4 of the way to dropping him off, and he's like, oh, so he was talking on the phone, right? So I was like, I turned on the radio, I just let him talk, and I was just trying to breathe. And at some point he goes, hello. He was an Indian guy, by the way. And I didn't know if he was on the phone or what. So then he starts slapping me on the shoulder. I'll go, hey man, what the fuck you doing? And he goes, can you change this? You know, I guess he put in the wrong address. And I was like, no, I'm driving. You change it. You have the, you know. So he's like, I can't figure it out. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. And at the time, I didn't know I can change it on my end, but I was driving. I'm not fucking with his stupid shit. And so I said, look, you can change it or I'll drop you off. You get yourself another Uber driver. Anyways, like, just take me back to the hotel. I'm like, no, I'm not going back. You gonna pay me? Shit's not happening. I said, look, I'm gonna drop you off. You just get another Uber. Anyway, so he was like arguing with me, and he stinks so fucking bad. Like he's breathing like whiskey or some cheap alcohol on the back of my neck. And I'm like, dude, sit back. I'm gonna drop you off, and you get another Uber, okay? Or you can request me, and I guess then I'll take you wherever you need to go, but you have to fix it on your end. He wasn't listening to a goddamn thing I said. So I stopped, and I'm like, okay, time to get out. He's like, no, you take me back, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Get out of my car. And at this point, I'm getting pissed. I said, get the fuck out of my car, or we're gonna have problems. So he says no. So I get out, I walk around, I open that back door for him to get out. He slides over to the other side. I'm like, you motherfucker. So I go back around, I open it, and then he's like, no. And he's shutting this door on the right side. And by the time I get on this side, he's like leaning over. So I grabbed him. I threw him out in the middle of the street. And man, I was fuming. I shut both doors and I took off. And I get another ding, and it's that fucking guy that was in that intersection. Like, oh, okay, so he can figure it out. And I'm like, fuck that. I X'd out. I had reported it to Uber that fucking guy was just not to be trusted. So I don't know. I didn't hear anything about it. He wasn't too hurt. You know what I mean? I literally grabbed him and I shoved him, and he fell on his ass. But it didn't take very long for him to request another Uber. So I don't know. And that's why I don't want to work certain hours, because I don't want to deal with fucking assheads like that, you know. So plus I have a little bit of a temper, and I don't want that to, you know, I don't want that to culminate into somebody getting hurt or worse. And then one other time I had to yell at these, again, they were drunk. And this was like 5 a.m, like on a Saturday. And there were 4 young kids. They were probably early 20s, maybe whatever. I know they were probably too young to be drinking, I'll tell you that much. So they had 2 stops. One was at a fucking smoke shop. And then I had to take them all the way to Madera, you know, this town about, I don't know, 20 miles or so north of us. Anyway, the 2 guys went in the smoke shop, and the 2 girls and one guy, no, what was it? Yeah, then 2 girls were in the back seat, and they were starting to argue about something. And then one was saying, well, this is my Uber drive, you can get out, blah, blah, blah. And they're just going back and forth. And I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. And these 2 fuckheads, the 2 guys, they're like taking their sweet ass time inside the smoke shop. And they're bullshitting with everybody. And it's like, I was getting kind of irritated. Anyway, they finally got in the car. We took off, started heading on the freeway. Anyway, these girls were arguing the whole fucking time. You had this one. So my story got cut off. Why? Fucking storage. How annoying is that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I ended up scolding those 2 girls because they were literally gonna fight in the middle of the freeway. I told them, you guys got 5 fucking minutes before I drop you off, or I can dump you off here in the freeway. Anyway, don't like dealing with drunk people. So, short story long, I drive in the morning, you know, 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. dealing with working stiffs and whatnot. Anyway, I guess I'm done recording until later, till I'm able to upload this and then start over. Boy, this storage thing sucks. I think I'm gonna have to start using my little knockoff GoPro to record from here on out. So anyway, all right, getting back to work, folks. Love you.